We've all been there, right? You have a question, you pop it into Google, and bam, in less than a second, you've got your answer. It honestly feels like magic. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic, because behind it is a massive human effort that makes your search results possible. So let's get into it and meet the people who make it all happen.
Just think about the last thing you searched for. Maybe it was a recipe, or a fact to win an argument, or even some serious medical advice. You probably got a nice, clean, useful list of links. So the question is, how does that actually happen? Is it all just super smart AI and complicated algorithms sorting the entire internet just for you? Well, the answer, it's not quite that simple. The truth is, the internet is a chaotic place. It's kind of like a digital Wild West, filled with everything from incredible, life-saving information to, dangerous scams and really harmful content. So before any of that magic can happen on your screen, someone or something has to police all that chaos. They has to tame it and make it safe and useful for the rest of us.
And the sheer scale of what needs policing, it's just staggering. We're talking about a constant 24/7 battle against spam, against scams, against hate speech, and all sorts of dangerous misinformation. It's a mountain of digital garbage, and somebody has to clear it all out before search results can ever get to you.
To handle all this, Google has its own very extensive rulebook. And a really key concept in it is this, YMYL. It stands for Your Money or Your Life. And yeah, it's as serious as it sounds. This is Google's internal label for search topics that are so important, so high stakes, that getting them wrong could seriously hurt someone.
Now, what's so interesting here is the level of human judgment this all takes. I mean, think about it. Is a search for purchasing pencils a big deal? Not really. But what about purchasing prescription drugs? Absolutely, that's YMYL. How to vote? Super high stakes. A music video? Low stakes. Sure, an algorithm can help sort some of this, but at the end of the day, it often takes a real person to understand the nuance.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question. With billions of searches happening every single day, and with the stakes as high as your money or your life, who are the people making these absolutely critical judgment calls to make sure the information we all rely on is actually safe? Well, meet the search quality raters. According to the Alphabet Workers Union, there's a whole army of them, about 200,000 all around the world. They're the human firewall, the quality control team for the biggest information source on the planet. But many of them call themselves ghost workers, because to the public, and even to Google, they're almost completely invisible.
This quote from Teresa Partain, a rater who works for a contracting firm, it just perfectly captures that feeling of invisibility. They do this mission-critical work for Google, but they're kept at arm's length, separated by this wall of contracting companies and really strict rules.
So what does this job actually look like? Well, a rater, like Ed Stackhouse, logs in from his home, gets a list of tasks, and then spends his day going through search results one by one. He's looking at everything, flagging content that's offensive or pornographic or just flat out wrong, all based on that massive Google rulebook. But here's the thing. This essential work comes with a really precarious reality. For so many of these raters, their entire employment situation is defined by one very specific number. And that brings us to what the workers themselves call the 29-hour wall. Okay, so here's the crucial point. Raters say they are capped at working 29 hours a week. Now, why 29? Because hitting what they call the magic 30 hours would, under Google's own policies, qualify them for benefits. Things like health insurance and paid sick leave that direct employees get. For people like Teresa Partain, who has Parkinson's, or Ed Stackhouse with his heart condition, that one single hour makes all the difference in the world. And for doing this incredibly important work, for spending their days sifting through some of the most harmful stuff on the internet to keep our searches safe, raters report earning about $15 an hour.
Now let's just put that wage into perspective for a second. In 2022, the company whose product they're protecting, Google's parent company Alphabet, posted a net profit of nearly $60 billion. And this quote from rater Ed Stackhouse, it just puts a razor-fine point on it. He and his colleagues are on the absolute front lines of Google's biggest moneymakers, search and ads, but they feel like their pay doesn't come close to reflecting the incredible value they provide.
So why does any of this matter to you and me? Well, because there is a direct line between the working conditions of this invisible workforce and the quality of the internet that we all use every single day.
And look, this isn't some small niche group of people. According to the Alphabet Workers Union, these contract workers actually make up more than half of Alphabet's total workforce. This is the new majority at one of the most powerful companies on the entire planet.
And that is the key takeaway here.
That magic feeling you get when Google just knows exactly what you wanted, it isn't just an algorithm. It's powered by a huge, global workforce of human beings making tough judgment calls, often in really precarious jobs. Their labor is what makes your search safer and more reliable.
So all of this leaves us with a final, really pressing question. As generative AI starts flooding the internet with even more content, making everything messier and harder to navigate than ever before, our need for these human moderators is only going to grow. And that forces us to ask, who's responsible for the well-being of the people who quietly and invisibly keep our digital world clean?